Humans have always looked up at the sky. We saw the moon and the countless stars. We wondered what secrets they held. The idea of going into space was a huge dream. For many years, it was only in stories. But then, technology started to catch up. Going into orbit was an amazing first step. But humanity dreamed of more than just being inside a spaceship. We wanted to step outside, to truly be in space. This pull towards the unknown was strong. Why would anyone want to leave the safety of their spacecraft? It seems risky, and it is. But exploration is about pushing boundaries. It is about learning what is possible. Scientists and engineers knew that future space missions would need this. We might need to repair a satellite. We might need to build a large space station. We had to find out if a human could work effectively outside. Could a person even survive out there, alone in the void? We needed answers. Think about it. The spacecraft is a small metal bubble. It provides air, warmth, and protection. But just outside that thin wall is the entire universe. Imagine opening the hatch. You look out and see the brilliant curve of the Earth below. It is a vibrant mix of blue, white, and brown. Then you see the endless, silent blackness of space all around. The desire to experience that raw reality was a powerful force. It was a deep human instinct to explore, to see, to understand. This dream was not just for the astronauts and cosmonauts. It was a dream shared by people all over the world. People on the ground looked up at the night sky. They imagined what it would feel like, to float without weight, to see our home planet from such a distance. The first person to walk in space would not just be taking a step for themselves. They would be taking a step for all of us. It would be a moment showing what humanity could achieve when we dare to dream big. The brave person who took that first historic step was Alexei Leonov. He was a cosmonaut from the Soviet Union. He was highly skilled, incredibly focused, and full of courage. His mission was part of the Soviet space program. They were pushing hard to achieve new firsts in space. The date for this incredible event was March 18, 1965. This was a very important moment, especially during the space race. The entire world was watching and waiting. Alexei Leonov was ready to make history. His spacecraft was named Voskhod 2. He was not alone on this daring mission. Pavel Belyaev was the mission commander, his partner inside the capsule. Together they piloted Voskhod 2 into orbit around the Earth. Once they were safely in space, they began the careful preparations. Every system was checked thoroughly. The tension must have been almost unbearable. Then, the moment finally came. It was time to open the outer hatch of the airlock. Leonov was securely attached to the spacecraft by a strong tether. This was his vital lifeline. Alexei Leonov carefully pushed himself out of the airlock. He floated gently into the vast emptiness of space. In that instant, he became the very first human being to do so. He was performing the first extravehicular activity, or EVA. He later described the view as absolutely breathtaking. He saw the Earth stretched out below him. It was a stunning, colorful panorama. He was surrounded by the silent, overwhelming darkness of the cosmos. He said he felt like a tiny bird, soaring free above the world. He spent about 12 minutes floating outside the Voskhod 2. Those 12 minutes changed our relationship with space forever. During that time, he moved his arms and legs. He tested his ability to control his movements in weightlessness. He also took photographs, capturing the historic scene for everyone back on Earth. He even gave a wave to the camera mounted on the spacecraft. These images became iconic. They showed a lone human figure, a pioneer, suspended in the stark beauty and immensity of space. It was a profound triumph. Walking in space might sound like a peaceful, dreamlike experience, but it was, and still is, incredibly dangerous. Space is a truly harsh and unforgiving environment for humans. There is no air to breathe, of course. There is no atmospheric pressure to protect us. Temperatures can swing wildly, from extreme heat in direct sunlight to bitter cold in shadow. And there are tiny, fast-moving particles called micrometeoroids. They can hit with the force of a bullet. Leonov's spacesuit was his personal, miniature spaceship. It had to protect him. Before the spacewalk, there were many serious concerns. The engineers and Leonov himself knew the risks. Would the spacesuit maintain its internal pressure perfectly? What if a small tear occurred from a micrometeoroid impact? Could the oxygen supply system fail unexpectedly? What if the crucial tether, his only connection to safety, somehow broke? These were life or death questions. The teams had tested everything they could on Earth, but this was the very first time in the real conditions of space. Every single moment was filled with high tension. During his time outside, a very serious problem started to develop. Alexei Leonov's spacesuit began to inflate, to balloon outwards. This happened because the pressure inside the suit was greater than the vacuum outside. The suit became very stiff and rigid. He described how his hands pulled away from the insides of his gloves. His feet also shifted inside his boots, making it hard to feel properly. Bending his arms and legs became extremely difficult. He was essentially fighting against his own protective suit to move. Getting back inside the spacecraft's airlock became a desperate struggle. The inflated suit was now too wide to fit through the hatch easily. He was supposed to go in feet first, but it was impossible. He had to make a quick and very risky decision. Without direct permission from ground control, he manually bled some air out of his suit. He reduced the internal pressure to a dangerously low level. This exposed him to the risk of decompression sickness, the bends. But it was his only chance. He finally managed to squeeze himself in head first, completely exhausted but alive. The news of Alexei Leonov's successful spacewalk spread like wildfire around the globe. People everywhere were absolutely amazed. They gathered around radios and, where available, television sets showing grainy images. A human being had actually walked in outer space. It was something that had previously only existed in science fiction books and movies. But now, it was real. It was a stunning achievement that captured the imagination of millions of people, young and old. It was a moment that transcended borders. The reaction from the world was one of profound awe and deep inspiration. This event clearly demonstrated what human beings could achieve with courage and ingenuity. It was a powerful symbol of scientific and technological progress. Even though it happened during the Cold War, many people saw it as a human achievement first. It inspired a generation to dream bigger dreams. It made people think more seriously about the future possibilities in space. If we could do this, what else could we accomplish among the stars? That first spacewalk, or EVA as we now call it, was truly revolutionary. It proved that humans could not only survive outside a spacecraft, but could also perform useful work. This was an absolutely critical step for all future space exploration. Think about what came later. Repairing orbiting satellites became a real possibility. Assembling large structures in orbit, like the International Space Station, was now conceivable. It also provided vital experience that helped pave the way for astronauts to walk on the moon just a few years later. Alexei Leonov's incredible bravery opened up an entirely new chapter in our journey beyond Earth. Spacewalks have since become a regular, though always carefully planned part of space missions. Astronauts and cosmonauts now routinely spend many hours working outside. They build and maintain complex equipment. They conduct important scientific experiments in the unique environment of space. But it all started with that single daring step into the unknown by Alexei Leonov. His legacy continues to inspire us to keep exploring and to keep pushing the boundaries of what is humanly possible.